Hi, friends. I'm going to talk today in this episode a little bit about something that sounds overly done and a little too simplistic, but I'm going to make you a promise. I believe this will bless you, so please stay with me. So, we're going to talk about motivation and confidence. So, people will ask me sometimes, oftentimes, how do I become more confident? And prior to my recent change in perspective and walking, in terms of my faith walk, I would have given them 5 steps to, change their behavior, basically a behavior modification plan. And I see it very differently now. I see everything really intertwined with renewing the mind and walking in faith. But let's focus a little bit just today on confidence. So, confidence is not something that we catch, right? It's not a feeling like, oh, if I go get my hair done and my nails done, or I make more money, or I get that promotion, or I get that car, or I get that man or that woman, um, everything's going to be different. I'll feel great about my life and I will be overflowing with confidence. Not true. Absolutely not true. Um, And sometimes the more we do have, like for example, when I had a lot on paper. I was successful and I had a wonderful life. Looked confident, but I didn't have anything that I really built my life on. So I was lacking in confidence. But that's a story for another day. As far as confidence in general, it's not something we conjure up as an emotion. It's not something I feel confidence. People talk about feeling confident. Confidence comes from action. So when we do something, when we're not quite confident yet, we get uncomfortable and then we act, then we can now have confidence. We can now have evidence that we did something and it builds. So if you're waiting to catch a feeling of confidence, hold your breath. It's not going to work because it's not a feeling that you can conjure up. It comes from taking an obedient step. So, for example, people say, "Oh, I'll be confident and I'll join the gym once I lose some weight and I can, I'll watch some videos and learn how to use the equipment and then I'll feel confident." I understand, every time somebody starts something new, especially something like going to the gym, it's intimidating. But you know how you get confident is you get in there and you overcome your fears. I say it all the time that the heaviest weight at the gym is the front door. So you get in there, even when you get in, you even don't know really what to do. Fake it till you make it. Find something. Find something you can go to, something that looks familiar, one machine, or even if it's the treadmill, go walk on the treadmill for 3 minutes and leave. Then you can say to yourself, I did the hard thing. And now you have evidence to say, okay, I can do this. Similarly, you can't say, well, I will start a business when I get through this. I, take one more course and I watch 5 more videos, except of course, if it's one of my videos. Just kidding. Um, and somebody named Cody Sanchez does a great job talking about this. She says, just do the hard thing. Stop talking about the hard thing. Stop thinking about the hard thing. Stop researching the hard thing. Do the hard thing. And then when you do the hard thing, you've built up that confidence muscle, right? You say, okay, there's evidence that I can do this. Even if you didn't do it well, you can now go forward. And I love the idea, and it's actually her who she was speaking about it in a video about like the Wright brothers with their plane, right? That, it took them like, golly, I don't know, I'll be exaggerating. Let's say 5,000 times and a lot of mistakes. But each time was like an iteration that got them closer. Every failure got them to their future. So just waiting for perfection, you will get nowhere fast. So do it, fail. Let's admit it, like you're going to fail sometimes. Fail well by saying, okay, this is what I learned from that. And then the next time you do it, maybe you won't fail as epically, so you just build on each iteration. And each time you're going to get closer to where you want to be. But staying stuck in the waiting for perfection or waiting to feel confident or waiting for motivation or any of that, because willpower, motivation, all those things, they wax and wane, they come and go. And those muscles get burnt out real quick. The willpower muscle gets worn down super quick. So you've got to just press on, press through, take one bold step, or even not even a bold step, a tiny step, right? Let's go back to the fitness thing. Put your sneakers out and put them on and go outside your door and walk a few steps. Okay, you got out there. I think when we make things too big, like I'm going to change everything in my life in 7 days, it's like overwhelming. So do one small step. And, people who are far more brilliant than I, like James Clear, the list goes on and on and on. Charles Duhigg, they write about habits and creating a better life. And they don't say that, there's some magic pill, some magic solution to any of this. It really comes down to your success rises and falls according not to your goals, but to your systems. So create systems that support positive movement. So take the step, okay, and then build systems that support that. And they call habit stacking. So you can build upon that. But I guess all of this to say, when people ask me about confidence, I just tell them that you really shouldn't wait around for that feeling because that feeling is elusive. And even people who are multimillionaires and have everything you would think they would ever want in the world still every day have to take risks and feel not confident. Okay. And then after they do the hard thing, they say, oh, okay, I just cast a vote in the direction of me becoming a better version of myself. And you look at that evidence and your brain, I always talk about brain and neural pathways and, those grooves in our brain. So when we see that something works, now we have that pathway. We say, oh, okay, I can do this. But until you take the step, there's no path. You're still stuck in the other path. Those other loops that are saying, yeah, you always fail. You start and you make promises to yourself and you break them. There's nothing worse for confidence than making a promise to yourself and breaking it. So, friends, today I encourage you to not seek a feeling of confidence. I'm asking you to think of one small thing that you can do, make the promise to yourself, and do it. And even if you do it poorly, just do it. And that will build confidence. Trust me, I know. I've had to build my entire life back. And looking from this broken life and saying, where do I even begin? I had to take a step. And sometimes it was the wrong step or I faltered and fell, but I learned and then I got back up and did it again. But if I just waited to feel like, okay, I'm going to magically feel like I can, boldly have confidence and believe that this is going to just, I'm going to conquer the world, I would have still stayed on the floor, literally on the floor. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you want to bounce any ideas, I love this. I love helping people to basically restore their lives. And through the Salt and Light framework that I developed, and there's plenty of frameworks out there, and some of them, are probably a better fit for you, but I find that this works very well. It's simple enough, but it's deep enough. I think it's a sweet spot. And so the framework is essentially reveal, reset, renew, restore. We reveal what lies we're believing, the brokenness, where we're stuck. Reset is stopping those patterns that we're living in and calling them just the way we are. And the renew is we create new patterns, new processes. I was talking about creating processes to build a new life and taking action. And then restore is stacking all of those renewed patterns and living out a life that's full of joy and excitement, enthusiasm for the future, not a perfect, peaceful life, not one free of problems, but one that you're living fully into and not remaining stuck and waiting for a feeling of confidence that will never come. I hope this blesses you. If it does, share it with somebody else and subscribe. And if you'd like to learn more about the framework and get any of the tools that I offer, please just in the comments below, write framework. And I will reach out to you and get those assets in your hand, and you can implement them in your life, and you can give me feedback. Tell me what works and what didn't. I believe more is going to work than doesn't, but I always welcome feedback. All right, take care. See you next time.